Today I want to talk to you about where we are on terms of the marketing year average prices that would be determined, that be used to determine whether there's going to be a payments for the 15 crop. Where for most parts of Texas and around the country we're well on our way on the 16 crop, but as you know the payments are made a year after the crop is harvested because it uses a marketing year. So what we're going to look at first is, I've shown this to you before, and in fact this file is available on our website. You can download and look at it and put your own numbers in if you'd like to. But for today's purposes, we have updated the marketing year average data, which takes the individual monthly prices that are listed here in the gray. Those are actual prices that have been announced by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The yellow would be our guesses at the remaining months of the marketing year. So you can see rice is an August to July marketing year, corn, soybeans, sorghum is a September to August, and barley, oats, wheat, and flaxseed are basically July to May marketing year. So starting off at the bottom, the marketing years that are almost finished, with maybe 1 month left to be reported official, would be barley, oats, wheat, and 2 months for flaxseed. Looking at those, so I'm going to show you in the next slide in just a few seconds what the average would be, but just to remind you again, what we have here in the gray is actual reported data. The yellow is where we filled in guesses at how the market year would finish up, and the light blue shade is USDA's about 3 or 4 years of average marketing, how those marketings were allocated across the year. So you have to multiply the price times the marketing for each month, get a weighted average price for the marketing year average price. So just as I mentioned, rice for 3 months left to be official. Again, we're sitting here in June. You say, why don't you have May yet? Well, because it hadn't been released yet, that sort of thing. So the next slide I'm going to turn to is the same kind of sheet, just you can see a little bit more data. So the yellow, if you were to go and download the spreadsheet, you would put in your guesses for the remainder of the marketing year in that yellow column, and it would populate the spreadsheet over to the left. So for example, on corn, we've put in 358 average for those last 4 months. That's probably going to be low as the corn price appears to be moving up on the board and in the cash markets. So we'll see where it comes out. But if it was in fact 358, then the marketing year average price estimate that we would calculate would be 362. And so for those farmers who had chosen price loss coverage, there would be a small PLC payment. For those, again, if you chose ARC, this is for last year's crop. If you made an above average yield, just remember the price, this marketing year price is going to have to go down quite a bit before you're going to be thinking about getting a payment for ARC. If you made a below average yield, then then this price doesn't have to be that low to trigger a payment. Again, this spreadsheet basically compares to the price loss coverage. One thing to keep in mind is these are estimates. The monthly marketing changes throughout the year, but this is kind of an aggregate monthly marketing. The next and final sheet here to look at is basically looking at that estimated marketing year average price that we looked at on the previous slide. If this is the average, comparing it to the reference prices for PLC, and right off the top of your head you can see that the rice estimated prices are going to be well below the reference price for medium grain and long grain, significantly below, and peanuts, not at all below for medium grain for California. Corn, it's going to be close to whether it would trigger a payment or not for this year. Grain sorghum, 324 versus 395, there would be a significant payment. There will be no payment for soybeans because the estimated price is above. Not very many people picked PLC, if any, on soybeans anyway. Sunflowers is pretty close. There'll be a small payment. Barley, oats, and wheat. The main one there to look at is wheat. Somewhere around a 50 cent per bushel payment on wheat is estimated at this time. And again, the marketing year is almost over. Very little wait at the end of the year, so say if prices were to jump a lot next month, it doesn't matter that much because it won't affect the season average price very much because it's just a small wait. We will be updating this again. My suggestion is for you to go to our website, www.afpc.tmu.edu, and download it. It's on the front page. I think towards the bottom there's a link, and you can download this and keep track of it if you want to. We update it monthly as these prices are released by USDA. Until next time, thank you.